I've just created a rough stud wall here, just to give you an idea of how a wall is created, and then it gives you a better idea of how and where you can fix certain fittings too. So today we've got 12.5mm plasterboard. When you're using 12.5mm plasterboard to build a dry wall, you normally set the centres of the 4x2 studs at about 600mm or 24 inches. If you're using the thinner plasterboard, 9.5mm thick, you set the centres of the 4x2 at about 400mm or 16 inches. And for this demonstration I've screwed the plasterboard onto the studs with screws set at about 30cm centres, and as you can see that is already pretty solid. So now I'm just going to turn it round and show you what happens on the back, the bit you don't see. The front here, which is the plastering side, is the pretty side with no writing on, and the back side, which goes against the studs or the battens or whatever it's going to go onto, is usually brown and has the writing on it. This moment in time, prior to the plastering, it's easy to see where the studs are and the screws are. Usually with drywall you'd have black drywall screws, but with this you can see them at the moment easily enough. But if you use a strong magnet, this is just a, you can see this, where's it gone? You can just about see this little wand has got a magnet on the end of it. It's fairly strong and actually surprisingly good at actually picking up these screws. But if you wander down the wall, and you'll feel the magnet catch onto the screws, and once you've found those, then if you measure across your 60cm, or in this case 40cm, it should tell you pretty well where the centre of the next stud is. Obviously at certain points, not every room is a perfect size or shape, so some of them are at slightly different positions to what you would expect. But a strong magnet is a good way to find where the screws are, and then it allows you to measure across and work out where the studs go. I've now turned the stud wall round so you get a better idea of what goes on inside a stud wall. So you need to, this shows you what to look out for when you're drilling holes. Inside will probably be filled with insulation, but then you've got maybe water pipes, gas pipes, maybe electrical wires going through. So you need to check that there's nothing like that behind before you start drilling through a stud wall. And also, if you're going to fix anything heavy, if you can find the studs and if they're in a good position, that's a good way of attaching a sort of heavy item like a mirror or a heavy painting or something like that, as long as they're in the position you want. They may not be particularly in the position you want, so then you've probably got to go back to putting a fixing into the plasterboard. But in another video I'll show you the sort of fixings you can get for plasterboard and how they work, and I'll show you the front view and also the back view, which just gives you a better idea. Not sure how clearly you can see this, but this is a clever little gadget I bought which detects metal pipes, electrical circuits, and also studs, these wooden studs. So what you do is you set that up, follow the manufacturer's instructions, and then we'll give it a try. The detector is now set on metal, so we'll just see whether we can find out where the screws are. Luckily at the moment we can see where they are, so that makes life a bit easier. You can see that, but it's on green for go at the moment, and then as we come across to the metal, we're pretty well right over through, and it's showing the red. So there's a warning about the metal. Now on this other side here, there's a pipe running down just behind there, so we'll have a look and see whether we can find that. And here we are. There's the little pipe running down there. Right, I'll just set my little detector onto the wood to try and find the stud, and let's have a look and see what we can do. I'll bring it in on the side, and we get a bit of a broad reading of red, which it now says signal found. So now if we come back across, it should give us a more accurate reading. So now it's showing that the right hand side of the stud is there. Stud is there, and that should be, roughly speaking, the left hand side of the stud.